Hey guys, X2 here, and the Battlefield 6 leaks have started. Now, the one I'm going to specifically talk about was 6 months ago, but throughout the past weeks, there has been more leaks coming out for the next title. And we already know that the next Battlefield title that's coming out next year, holiday 2021, so that might be Christmas, that might be Thanksgiving, that might be Halloween. We don't know because Battlefield's usually released during the October November kind of area. But let's get into this league. So before we get into the league, I know we just said we would, but we already know that this battlefield is going to be like on a scale that we have never seen. Now we don't know if that's like in the Battlefield franchise kind of thing, or we don't know if that's just in gaming in general. We already know that they have been testing 150 players, and it's been going a lot smoothly, as we know. And we already got teasers of Battlefield a long time ago. I think it was along with the Xbox conference. I'm not really entirely sure, but they showed a person and all the facial things they put into the new Frostbite engine. We've also saw new instructable environment, and we also saw some. It kind of looks like new AI, a new AI system. And if I can find that, I'll put it on the screen for you guys. But back into this leak again. It was 6 months ago on the Battlefield 5 Reddit, but again, there have been a lot more leaks talked about recently, as in like 2 weeks, 3 weeks ago. So we'll get into it. This is all the information I could gather about Battlefield 2021 or Battlefield 6. This information was collected from two sources. One close with DICE and someone from the publisher EA. Before we get into some details, a little tidbit is Battlefield 6 was a reworked Bad Company 3. Now let's pause there real quick. If you guys don't remember, when Battlefield 5 was like in development and coming out, in a couple months after Battlefield 5 was released, we got a leak suggesting that the next Battlefield was Bad Company 3. Now, a lot of the community loves Battlefield Bad Company 3. I do enjoy that series too, but I also think that the Bad Company series should be its own kind of franchise, like its own kind of thing, deserves its own kind of development team. So maybe we would get a Bad Company game at the start of the year, and then towards the end of the year we would get another Battlefield title. That would be kind of cool in my opinion, but I know that would be so much stress on DICE to make it. And since we don't have DICE and then DICE LA, I think we still do have DICE LA, but I think they're more into the same company now. And I would much rather prefer a next Battlefield title than a Bad Company title, because I just think the Bad Company series should be its own kind of thing, like its own development company, I guess you could call it. Still under EA, still under DICE, but kind of its own thing. But let's continue. Bad Company 3 was being worked alongside of Battlefield 5 in 2016/2017, but talks of Bad Company 3 started in 2015. It was only in early stages. While it was being worked on in the time, the project was consistently being reworked and soft restarted and set in a weird place between the release of Battlefield 5 and now it was a revamped into Battlefield 6, most likely for time and resource management. So I guess what I'm getting at there is, again, this was 6 months ago, so this could have changed drastically from then till now. And the leaks that were talked about and are coming up right now, a couple weeks ago, they took Bad Company 3. There was like a small development team within DICE working at the game, and then they're like, you know what, we should either push this back or just push it into the next Battlefield title. So they could have been working on some nice and really good initiative things and new features in Bad Company 6, and they're like, you know what, scrap this, we'll just put it in the next Battlefield, because the community really wants another modern day Battlefield. We haven't gotten that since 4. I guess you could say Hardline, but we don't talk about that game. I don't have a lot of specifics on the next title, most broad strokes. But for the starters, the game will be taking full advantage of the next-gen consoles. Frostbite is getting a massive upgrade to pretty much Frostbite 4, and this kind of confirms that because we've already seen the new facial features they've been working on. This is the biggest Battlefield to be ever conceived, which again, that also goes and confirms what the studio head has said, that this is going to be the biggest and most extraordinary edition of Battlefield we've ever seen. Again, we don't know what she means by that. She could just be saying that in the Battlefield kind of sense, or in just gaming in general. This could be the biggest game ever developed. So we'll continue. The game is set in the near future, no crazy tech, and still around our time. So this could be like 2021, 2025 or something. I'm fine with that, but I just really hope it doesn't turn into like some futuristic bullshit. Kind of like what we got with the futuristic Battlefield that we got after 1942. I don't know what it was specifically called. I think it was called Battlefield 2042, I think is what it was called. I never played it, but I have seen what the game looks like and stuff. And I really don't like futuristic games. So I really hope it's literally just a Battlefield 4 just upgraded in sense. And again, I just really hope the things that I've mentioned in my previous Battlefield 6 video comes into fruition, becomes true and stuff. The game is not no crazy tech. To continue, the team has successfully tested up to 150 players. Granted, these are tests. There are tests, but the numbers are most comfortable around 100 to 120 players on a server. Maps are fully destructible with dynamic weather and night cycles. That sounds really fucking cool. I would really, really love that. The point was to have the map feel alive. Weather and day-night cycles will be in full effect. So players could be fighting in a bright and with clear skies, and then progressively the map will turn into pitch black and rain, or pitch black and snow, or a thunderstorm, or a blizzard, or a sandstorm, and so on. Team AI is being tested with a few dozen AI soldiers on each map. Conceptually, each squad will have a set number of soldiers they can order around to hold positions, attack, and etc. They can also interact with the player by performing roles like being a medic, support class, etc., and can react to the battle in real time. So basically, this basically means that players can have a more real-time kind of reaction to the map along with players and AI. So what I'm getting at is each team will probably maybe have a dozen of AI soldiers. That could be up to like, that could add like half of the server, because it is 120 to 150 players on the server. They could just half that, and maybe there's 50 AI soldiers on the map just to make it feel like an actual battle, like an actual real war situation going on. An emphasis was also to have the game be more cinematic. Instead of just spawning on the map, players would manually infiltrate onto the map in droves. Now, what I think this means is, I think what we got with Modern Warfare Call of Duty 2019 is they had infill, is when you start a multiplayer match, when you load into it, you would either start the map being X-filled in with a helicopter, a little bird, a Black Hawk, or you would come in in a 6x6, or if you're on the insurgent side, you come in like a fucking minivan. I think that's really cool, and with Battlefield, they could make it more over the top. Maybe your squad Halo jumps. Halo 2 is high altitude, low oxygen, so you could be in a C-17 Global Master 130. You could be high in the altitude. You guys could manually jump out of the cargo bay of the plane and then parachute onto the map. And that would be a really amazing segue, especially if the map is set in night. You could do like night ops, and hopefully to add night vision to the game. It would be so fucking cool. Maps will also have story tidbits and lore scattered throughout the map. That would be really cool. Something that was also considered, but I'm not sure if it's in the game, is having civilian NPCs on the map. Again, not sure if it's in the game anymore, but might have been just an idea. We can elaborate on that. So let's say all this is true. Let's just say all this is true, because again, this is a leak. It probably isn't actually true. None of this could be true. But let's just say that DICE makes some kind of Desert Storm map, like a flashback in campaign or maybe a flashback into the multiplayer, because they like to add, if there's a flashback in campaign, they like to put that map in multiplayer. So let's say we have a Thunder Run mission for Battlefield 3 kind of aspect, a Thunder Run kind of mission in the next Battlefield title where we're going through like Somalia from Black Hawk Down or something, and they put that in the multiplayer, and there are civilians running around in the map to where you have to choose, do I shoot this guy if he's got an AK, or is it a player, is it an AI enemy combatants, or is it just a regular civilian? And I think that would be really cool. That would add a lot of realism to multiplayer, and it would just feel amazing. And what this leak is, I'm getting a very heavy squad vibe. If you guys don't know what squad is, it's a very realistic hardcore tactical shooter on Steam, and it's a really fun game, and I think that's what DICE is trying to do. Again, if these leaks are true, I think that's a really good route for them to do, because we don't really have a really good hardcore shooter on consoles for the console players to enjoy, because there probably are console players out there who want to play Postscriptum, play Hell Let Loose, play Squad, play Insurgency Sandstorm, or Rising Storm 2 Vietnam. They see these games, they're like, man, I really wish this game was on PC, not on PC, because they already are on PC. Man, I really wish these games were on console. I wouldn't really try it, but I don't want to spend a lot of money on a computer to see if I can run the game. So if DICE really does this, I think this will take a really good turn in the market for AAA games, for companies to come out and say, hey, wait a minute, man, what? Hey, wait a minute, we should make a hardcore tactical shooter and put it on consoles. Just like the development company that makes Insurgency Sandstorm, they made a hardcore tactical shooter, and they're trying to put it on console. I still don't know if it's on console yet, but I think it comes out holiday 2021 or something. I'm not entirely sure. It goes on to say, customization is being heavily revamped, allowing players to turn their weapons into completely others by just using attachments. You may have an AK-47, but with a stock barrel, it changes, etc. You now have an AK-47U. That gun doesn't actually exist. I think he means to say an AK-74U. I think that's what he means to say. So basically, this kind of already confirms what I did in my previous Battlefield 6 video, where I said just literally take the Modern Warfare gunsmith system and put it into Battlefield 6. So I could take a regular, let's say an AK, we'll take his example and we'll make it better. Let's say we'll take an AK-74M, which is the most modern AK in the Russian military. Again, I have an image on screen. And I'll use Escape from Tarkov in a sense here. We'll take an AK-74U, not U. We'll take an AK-74M, excuse me, and we'll take the base handguard off, and we'll put like a really long tactical kind of Troy handguard. We'll put like an RKU, I think it's called RK4 hand grip, foregrip, sorry. And then we'll take the regular stock off, and then we'll put a buffer tube adapter, then we'll put a buffer tube on it, and then we'll put like a CTM stock on it or something, and then with a better pistol grip, and then we'll take the dust cover off and put a Picatinny rail dust cover on it. You see what I'm getting at here? Again, I'll have an Escape from Tarkov kind of thing going on in the background for you guys so you understand what I'm talking about. So turn the gun into something more tactical that looks cooler, but not only looks cooler, but actually improves your weapon, like your aim speed, your accuracy or something. Battlefield doesn't really do that. They don't really go to the Call of Duty kind of weapon customization where it like extends your accuracy, your hip fire, and all that, etc. But they could just do it to make it aesthetic-wise, and then they could just put so much customization into weapons, kind of like what Modern Warfare did, where the gun is your character. They really could do that, and on top of the gun being your character of the game, your actual character, add a lot more customization to that, making your character look more badass and more operator and more like a Navy SEAL, a Delta Force operator, just a Green Beret operator, a Ranger, just a regular Marine, an Army infantry, an Air Force infantry, a PJ, etc. You guys see what I'm getting at. It also goes on to say, there will be new health mechanics involving body armor, he goes on to say, I don't really know much beyond that. And to pause on that, if you guys have played World War III, you know that really good indie shooter that we all thought would replace Battlefield for a modern shooter, which it kind of fell down the shithole. But basically, in a plate carrier, and I already went in depth in this on my previous Battlefield 6 video. But basically, you take a plate carrier, and these plates are rated for specific calibers. So, like, some are, like, level 3 rated for 7.62. I don't know if there's any that are rated above 7.62, like 308 or 338 or etc. You put it into your plate carrier, which holds said plate, and this can block certain rounds. Like, most of them can block pistol calibers, and some can block higher rifle calibers. So, I think that would be really cool, but in the sense of, I think most people won't like it because if they're going for the hardcore tactical shooter route for this game, I don't think most people are going to like it because Battlefield's always known to be, it's still a tactical shooter, but it's still more arcadey. So maybe have a playlist that's more hardcore to the people who actually want to try it and love it, and then just have the base Battlefield with no plates. I think that'd be really cool. One thing I will state is I don't want it to be like a battle royale armored system to the point where you shoot them anywhere and the armor blocks it. I would just hope that it's an actual, like, it's a realistic plate to where you like, if you shoot them in the chest, the bullet is the plate's gonna block the bullet for like at least 2 rounds or something. But you would still take a little bit more damage. You would still take impact damage, because if you've ever gotten shot while wearing a plate carrier, I can't say from experience, but if you're getting shot by a plate carrier, you're not going to be standing. You're going to get knocked to your ass, and you're going to feel it. So I think to balance the plates, I think DICE, if this is true, if you're hit in the chest and your plate happens to block that bullet, you need to take some impact damage, so maybe like 10 or 15 damage to your health. So I think that'd be really cool. It also says players like in Battlefield 5 will be fully customizable, allowing you to change specific parts of the uniform, but an emphasis was to make sure it's realistic and not uncanny. I will say Battlefield 5's player customization was not realistic at all, but with it being a modern game, I hope they can take some more customizable liberty, because they can just look at uniforms from the U.S. military, the Chinese military, the Russian military, any military in the world, and they're going to be like, okay, we can just put that in the game. Don't expect this game on current-gen platforms, but do expect there to be a full cross-play with PS5, Xbox Series X, and presumably PC. This is all the information I have on Battlefield 6. If you need me to clarify anything, I will do as best as I can. So again, all of this is just a rumor. None of this is true or confirmed. I really hope it is, because that'd be really fucking badass. But take this with a pinch of salt. I don't think any of this is true. I think it's all fake. But just for the video's sake, we're gonna act like it's real. There are a couple more leaks that I'm gonna show you guys. So let's get into those real quick. His name is William Fitchner, and this was 6 days ago. So it says Battlefield 2021. Now, again, just like the previous one, that was 6 months ago that I, for some reason, just now covered. Take it with a grain of salt. It's probably not true, but let's just go with it. So Battlefield 2021. Battlefield 2021 will be set in a World War III setting and features NATO versus Russia. Now, if you're living under a rock and you don't know what NATO is literally all the Western allies put together. So we got Britain, we got Germany, we got America, France, all of those nations, Italy, and so and so. War stories return in Battlefield 2021 and will track several soldiers from different countries as the war rages in every corner of the world. I have information on 2 of those war stories. One will feature a U.S. Army squad fending off a Russian attack in the suburbs of America. So it looks like we're going to like the Modern Warfare 2 days, where we got Russia invading the east coast of the United States. Another war story will feature an MI6, which is basically British's version of the CIA, FBI kind of thing. Agent embedded in a rebel group in Eastern Europe, with the object of stopping a Russian advance in NATO territory. And then we go on to multiplayer. Multiplayer will be a massive in scale and features 64 versus 64 combat on PC and next gen consoles. Modes coming to multiplayer include TDM and Domination. Real quick, I got really pissed off that DICE removed TDM and Domination from Battlefield 5. Their excuse was no one's playing the modes enough, which that's a bold-faced lie. I love Domination and Battlefield, and I'm so glad, if this leak is true, that is coming true. Conquest, Breakthrough, and Grand Operations. He goes on to say, Grand Operations has been updated in this game from what it was in Battlefield 5. Grand Operations now takes place over the course of 5 days. Each battle fought on a given day will give the winning team an advantage on the following day. The more days that are won in a row, the bigger the advantage becomes. Whoever wins on day 5 wins the game. It is very possible for one team to lose the first 4 days and win on day 5 by overcoming steep odds. Whew. A long sentence. This will give people in Grand Operations a reason to continue the fight even after losing early on. Each day is different on different maps. I can give one example. First, I will describe the map. It is set in an American suburb. The map features a town hall, sprawling neighborhoods, a shopping mall, a drive-in, a town center, a park, an interstate, and many other small areas. I'm getting kind of excited here because I see where this is going, because it's giving me a Red Dawn vibe here. This map is about 1.5 times the size of Hamada from Battlefield 5. Holy fuck, because I think Hamada was the biggest map in Battlefield 5. I really hope this is true, guys. Already, I hope this is true. Now, to walk you through how a game may go, day 1. NATO forces deploy on the interstate while Russians paradrop into the mall area, Red Dawn style. The Russians' objective is to seize several control points along the way from the mall to the interstate. NATO has to grab a different set of control points along an alternate route on the way to the mall. Teams cannot recapture points once they have been taken by the enemy team. In this first round, NATO manages to capture all the points, or more points, than the Russian team. This then pushes the game to day 2. On day 2, the Russian team deploys in the neighborhood, while the NATO team deploys at a newly established FOB, which also means Forward Operating Base, at the mall. This new FOB grants NATO additional vehicles to use on day 2, while the Russian team has none. The objective in day 2 for the Russians is to destroy several targets throughout the map. NATO's objective is to capture a single hill at the center of the neighborhood deep inside enemy lines. Say in this scenario, the Russian team wins. Now in day 3, both teams will have similar advantages again. Day 3 involves more vehicles and team-based play. Each team is given a command tank with extra health and armor to defend defend. Didn't see the period there. Each team also needs to get the tank to a certain location within the map. First one to the location or to destroy the enemy's tanks wins. Let's say the Russian team wins this day as well. Now they have an advantage on day 4. Day 4 involves NATO defending the city hall from a Russian attack. NATO's objective is to hold out until the timer goes to 0. The Russian objective is to take the control point at City Hall. The Russian team is given extra vehicles to complete this task since they won the last 2 days, while NATO has got nothing. Say the Russian team wins day 4 as well. Now they have a major advantage going into day 5. The final day features a game mode very similar to the front lines from previous Battlefield games. So Battlefield 5 and 1. There are 7 command posts in total, which can be fought over back and forth. The Russian team would start at one command point closer to the NATO base than they would have otherwise, since they won the previous 3 days. They would also receive extra vehicles respawns and have AI air support on control for use by squad leaders. In this situation, it is highly likely the Russian team would win. However, through great teamwork and tactics, NATO can still pull off the upset and win day 5 and win the match of Grand Operations. That is how Grand Operations works in the next Battlefield. I don't know why I said it like that, in the next Battlefield. finally, I know of 3 maps so far: the suburban map, a European city, and a Russian forest map. This is all the information from now. So for right now, that is mainly all the leaks that I could find. I was watching. The reason why I wanted to make this video and how it got brought to my attention is I was obviously watching Jack Frags' video, and I was like, you know what? I already made a previous Battlefield 6 video talking about things I hope and want for. I might as well make an update video to this because why the fuck not? I'm really excited. If there's any other leaks that I managed to find, I'll either put them in the link in the description or I'll probably make another update video. Yeah, so I wanted to keep this video short. I didn't want to make it like a 30-minute video of talking about leaks. I will leave links in the description of the things I have talked about for you guys. And I'll leave a link down in the description of my previous Battlefield 6 video. In the background, you guys saw some Battlefield 4 multiplayer gameplay because I still play that and it's still alive. So if you guys want to jump on Battlefield 4 and play the multiplayer, probably the best Battlefield in years. And I really do hope that this game doesn't turn into a Battlefield 4. And hold on. What I mean by that is I hope it doesn't turn into Battlefield 4 at launch, where it took DICE like a couple months to actually get everything fixed and ready. Again, I really hope this has cross-progression, cross-platform play, just everything that Modern Warfare brought to the table in terms of bringing the community together. I hope this game does that because I really want to play on my Series X. I don't have one currently, but I'm getting one for Christmas. I already know that. But I really hope I can play on my Series X, and my friends on PC who see the game and are like, whoa, this game looks fucking great, can buy the game on PC and we can play together. I really want that, and if I decide to move to PC myself, all my progress from the Series X or my Xbox profile carries over. So EA, you could probably make like a Battlefield account, a DICE account, or an EA account to where everything's linked together, where I can link my Xbox account, my PlayStation account, my Steam account, my Origin account, and then I can just switch between platforms if I really wanted to. And I really hope so, because if all these leaks that we have talked about come true, this Battlefield will probably be the best Battlefield we have ever fucking had to ever exist, let alone the best video game we have ever had to exist, because it would be fucking amazing. And honestly, I think if they release this game and all the leaks are true, and the things that I wanted to hope and things I want for the next title come true, I really think they could just keep this game alive and keep updating it for years upon years upon years, instead of, dropping the game after a year. They could support the game for like 5-6+ years, and we just have this congruently growing Battlefield until the community's like, you know what, can we get like a new kind of period of Battlefield, or can we get a Bad Company 3 or something? I think it'd be really, really fucking cool. And I think DICE is also working on a new Star Wars Battlefront game, so probably Battlefront 3 will come out in the next 2 years or something, so that might give us a break if they decide to do this continued support on this title. I really hope so. I'm really looking forward. I have hopes. Again, these leaks are fake until proven that they were confirmed. Again, if there are more leaks that come out after this video is uploaded, I will surely glad to make an update video. But I'm going to stop rambling. Without further ado, guys, let me know down in the comments what you think about these leaks and what you would hope for the next title in the Battlefield franchise. Without further ado, guys, like, comment, subscribe, turn on that bell for all notifications so you know when I upload another video, and I will see you later. Adios, guys.